In this episode of the Trip in Ingalls, we explore a new feature in RVTripWizard. So let me bring it up. RVTripWizard is a subscription-based service, and we've been members for about 2.5 years. When you start off, there's another video, and the link is at the bottom of the description on YouTube. You can go to that, and I describe how to create a trip. So in this video, we assume that you've made a trip and you want to do some analysis of it. And I'm going to bring one up. And there's a feature that I just noticed on this trip called elevation, and if you see on the bottom of the screen where my cursor is, elevation beta. So it shows that it is a beta feature, and initially I thought there might be some issues with it. I thought it kind of seemed off when we were driving one of the segments on it, but then after we got done driving I realized that it was actually pretty close. One thing to note when you bring up your trip is you're going to want to note the numbers over here on the left hand side of your trip. And what I'm going to take a look at is the route between Bruneau Dunes State Park and Chickahominy Reservoir. Now one also note, probably because it's beta, if I click on this turquoise tab called elevation beta, it doesn't show the guide, how many feet there are. And if I close this side here, it's still not there. So what you have to do is minimize the elevation and bring it up when your trip is actually collapsed on the left. That's probably because it's still beta. So I'm going to do that. And now we've got the elevation scale over on the left. Let's take a look here. Let's zoom in. And move the map over a little bit. We are currently at Bruneau Dunes State Park, and we are going to be following the red line through here to Chickahominy Reservoir in Oregon. And I want to figure out what elevations that we're dealing with here. So again, Bruneau Dunes is right here. And if you see the little orange guide that goes along the map there, you can see where the elevation is in relationship to the map. So we're currently at about 2,500 feet. And then as we move along on our route, we go up to about 3,300 feet. And a pretty gradual slope. You can see that it's not very sharp. Then we drop back down, have a little hill here, and then at the base of that hill we're looking at about 3,000 feet, and we are going to go up to almost 4,200 feet. So 1,200 feet increase in elevation between this point here and the top of this hill here. Again, not too bad. It's going to be a pretty good climb, but it is not really super sharp. Now the next one here, it goes from about, well, let's see, 3,700 feet up to 4,900 feet. So again, another 1,200 foot rise, but it is a sharper angle than the previous hill that we went to. And so that kind of gives me a forewarning of what kind of driving conditions that we're going to have as far as hills are concerned along this route. And again, if you look up at the map, you can see the little orange dot moving back and forth as I move the cursor along the elevation. And then it drops down, and it's a pretty easy drive to Chickahominy. So again, we're going from Bruneau Dunes State Park to Chickahominy, and if you follow as I move the mouse along the bottom on the elevation scale, you see the orange dot going along the road. So that's pretty cool. That's really exciting. We can take a look at the route that we've got planned and what hills do we have. And here you can see, for example, if we move over in the Bend area, we are going to be going to Paulina Lake Campground. And so here we are outside of Bend, be at Sun River, and then we're going along this road here towards Paulina Peak, and we're going to go from 4,600 feet up to 6,040 feet. So that is a pretty steep climb and pretty high. So we'll probably plan on disconnecting the Toad for this portion of the trip. And so we're kind of forewarned that, okay, so for this section, we're not going very far between point 9 and point 10, but it is a pretty steep grade. And so it might be easier to go ahead and take that route without the Toad. So just a few notes before I wrap up. We've been using RVTripWizard for about 2.5 years. It is subscription based, and we get no compensation from RVTripWizard for these videos. If you like us, then hit the like button, and feel free to subscribe to more videos, both on tips and tricks in what we've been learning in full-time RVing for the past couple of years, as well as our travel log. So we give some sights and sounds and play around with our drone for some aerial video where we can. And come along. Thanks.
I took the long